good to go whenever.
All right, welcome to another episode of Rotten Apples Film Review. I'm your host, John Galligan. This is Movie Deathmatch between The Lighthouse and Uncut Gems. Both came out and were produced by A24, a company out of New York City, where I'm from. It's Katz, Finkel, and Hodges. They're the guys who are the founders of the company. And we're going to pit these two films against each other. We'll start off right off the bat, where we'll start off with the director. We got the Safdie brothers, that's Josh and Benny, versus Robert Edgers. I'm going to have to give the edge to Edgers here over the Safdie brothers. I hope I'm saying that right. And they're from New York, so you think I'd be biased, but I don't know where Edgers is from, but I definitely think he's a better director than the Safdie brothers. But I do think the Safdie brothers are newer at this craft, and they're definitely coming into their own. Uncut Gems is a very good movie, and I think there is a little challenge between the two in direction, but I definitely am going towards Edgers here. So that they'll win that round here in the movie deathmatch. Next, we'll go on to the acting, which is definitely reflective of the directing. Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson turn in fantastic, solid performances. There's just two of them, and they really feed off each other. Willem Dafoe's accent, it's like Captain Ahab, Moby Dick style, and it's at moments hard to understand, I guess, for the layman, if they're not into like sailor boat lingo, like army matey and swabby and stuff like that. Like the lingo, the way I can't do it. Sorry, I attempted to do it there, but I definitely I think their performances are as good as acting can be. On the flip of that, Adam Sandler on Uncut Gems, really, really, this is his best film in terms of acting. He's fantastic in this. And I think he's not enough to take them down, but I do think he does put in a fantastic performance, as does Idina Menzel and Julia Fox, and Kevin Garnett is in it as well. The Weeknd. They have some pop culture people in there. Mike Francesa, who's a local radio host on WFAN sports talk radio here in New York. I think it's throughout the country. He's in it as well. It's a real suspenseful, high wire act of balancing between business and family and gangsters, and it's really suspenseful is definitely the word. I would say my palms were sweaty watching the film. So I mean, the acting there was really on point. The directing was great, but with all that praise, The Lighthouse, I'm gonna have to give The Lighthouse the nod in the acting as well. I think Willem Dafoe. He acted in a way where, I mean, I don't know too many people who could have pulled off the character the way he did, and it's more of a challenge. It's a horror, also suspense thriller film, and it really, both films got you focused. You can't really look away, but the acting, probably because of Edger's directing, is going to go towards Lighthouse. So right now it's 2-0. Lighthouse versus Uncut Gems in those regards. If we go on to cinematography, I'm gonna have to say it's really gonna have to be Lighthouse as well. So now it's 3-0. It's getting crushed pretty much. And I don't want you to think Uncut Gems isn't a good movie. I mean, it definitely, it's close. It's closer than it appears, even though it's 3-0. They're too hard to compare films in that regard, because Lighthouse is picturesque with big shots, and the island with the lighthouse, and framing is perfectly done, whereas there's a lot of handheld shots in Uncut Gems, and those shots, they're close-ups and they're shaky, and it helps the story, believe me. But I'm gonna have to give the cinematography to Lighthouse. Now, speaking of story, we'll go on to story. Now, I'm going to give this one to Uncut Gems. I think the story with Uncut Gem, to me, is developed better. It's more visceral for me, the story, because I feel like it's got this, like, you can almost taste the suspense. The story definitely moves in a way where I liked it a little better than Lighthouse. Now, Lighthouse's story is really good. The problem I have with Lighthouse's story is the end. I mean, Edgers was the director for and the writer for The Witch, and to me that film had a lot of the problem that Lighthouse doesn't have, but in a way, it still was lingering in Lighthouse, whereas the end was I was a little bit like left with. I wanted more to be told to me, so I would lean towards Uncut Gem with the story. So you got 3-1 right now, and we're gonna move on to music. The music is really not comparable. Uncut Gems music is very bad. I think a film, it's funny, visual storytelling, you would think it matters more about the visual, right? But it really actually, the music and the sound plays more of a role in visual storytelling than actual visual storytelling. For instance, you can have a very bad image, but with a great sound and understand the story much better, much clearer, great music, great score. Whereas if you have a beautiful shot with horrible sound, you don't know what's going on. You can't tell what's happening because it could be all mishmashy, and that's why sound really affects the visual too. So maybe if the score was better, the handheld shots would have came off better. But I think the music was really weak. I think one of the Safdie brothers is one of the ones that does the music. I'm not sure which one, but I think he missed the mark with this film in terms of the score and the music. Overall, it's a close battle, even though it's 4-1 Lighthouse. But Lighthouse gets a 10 out of 10 for me, and Uncut Gems gets a 9 out of 10. Both films are very good. I highly recommend both.
What about the color grade of the films?
The color grade is that's great that you asked that. Lighthouse is black and white, and it's shot in the 1:1 aspect ratio, which is something that they've been doing a lot for like Instagram and stuff like that. So it could show on phones and stuff like that. But it's also artistically done that way. And I also think that the color of the black and white with horror. I'm a Twilight Zone fan, so black and white to me, it's funny because the black in black and white to me feels blacker than the black in the color because it's got a balance of, there's only two colors going on, whereas when you see black in a color film, there could be a little blue in there could be reds in there could be other colors, but black and white, it's just black. It's that's the color that's going on in there. Maybe a little white, but it's still more solidly black than it would be in a color film, unless it's totally black. But they didn't do that in Uncut Gem. The coloring in Uncut Gem, it's set in New York City, and it's pretty much a traditional kind of palette that they have going on. It's nothing to write home about. I think I'm going to give that to Lighthouse as well, because I think the color, being it's black and white, that's part of what makes it so visceral, so bone chilling, because it's got this dark vibe and this creepy thing with the lighting where they put let me see if I could do it with my phone. They put the light like this, and it's all black and white. Can you hit a light?
Yeah, let me see.
It's like that. Army matey. Well, Vast, I can't really do his talking, but he talks like this, and I'm Willem Dafoe. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, I don't really know the dialogue, but it's kind of lighting like that, where it's like I mean, it's really good. Both films are definitely worth going to see. I really are. But that's our first episode of a movie deathmatch here on Rotten Apples Film Review. One more time, I'm your host, John Galligan, and I hope you guys tune in next time, and I'll see you on the flip.